I did say I think there's a player that needs to step up in terms of Cale and he needs to be the captain. Okay, period. It's just not Nate's gig. It's just like Von Miller would never be the perfect captain. It's just there's some guys that are made for it and some guys who aren't. Okay. I don't know if Jokic was made for it initially. He is now. No. I mean, it's ridiculous now, but initially it would have been tough. You know who's got to step up here? Gabe. Gabe's got to step up and pass the torch to Cale. Gabe's got to sign off on it.
Well, that's kind of tradition in hockey, isn't that the way it goes? Like don't they, generally speaking, kind of like handpick, like pass it off to somebody else?
Well, isn't that what Hayduk did? Was it Hayduk?
Oh, maybe.
Gabe the captain?
I think so.
Is that really what happens?
Yeah, he went to the coaches because I think he was on.
Was he here this week, by the way?
Line. Oh yeah. He was like on the second or third line, and basically went to coaches and said, "Listen, this Gabe needs to be the captain."
Yep.
And he wasn't ready either when he got it.
Yep.
Because look what he grew into.
Everybody is going to be deferential to Gabe. Nope, he needs to do it. I'm watching that Messi documentary on Apple, which is pretty cool. And Messi was like passing the armband to Miami Intercontinental, whatever the name of the team is, to the other guy. And the other guy was like, "Oh, no, you're Messi." And he goes, "No, you're the guy." Every now and then, and I know this would be tough for Gabe, but nobody's going to take it away from him, and nobody's going to suggest it. Gabe needs to realize this, and this is what the team actually needs. You know what we got last night? We just got, we got Colton just taking matters into his own hands, and that was cool. And then you got a shorthanded goal from Wood, right? And then you just, there were good things that happened.
I don't know if it has to literally happen. I don't know if there literally has to be a passing of the sea. I do think it's a fair question if they should have done it before the season ever began. But at this point, the most important thing is just the Cale takes on the responsibilities. That's the most important thing right now.
Hockey is the most significant still to this day.
No doubt.
Where the C means something.
No doubt.
In the other sports, it means – it used to mean something. Listen, I've got a jersey hanging up in one of my bedrooms up here when I was captain, I think, with Denver. And I'm proud of that C on that shirt. But back then it kind of meant something. I was the guy – if the coaches had, complaints, I'm the one that had to talk to the coach. I'm the one that had to set the straight. I'm the one, if the players weren't playing hard enough, that I needed to be the one to talk to the guy and everything else. I got that more because we had such a young team, and I, just came from an NBA championship team and got 10 years in the league. But that was significant to me that I was named captain. Hockey's the last bastion of the captain actually means something. And Tyler, there's traditions, and that's why D-Mac's right. Gabe's probably going to have to go,
yep.
Hey, we need to move this C.
Would that happen right now, though? Wouldn't that be like after the season, I would think?
No, needs to happen now.
He needs to come back in town, and they ought to do it either in a morning skate.
Boy, can you imagine
or something.
Needs to happen. You can see it happening
but just devil's advocate here for a second.
Sure.
I want to be the advocate of the
devil.
Right.
I thought about you the second I said it, Scott. I thought about you the second I said it. I hear you in the back of my mind, Pal. I hear you. That feels so significant for Gabe. If he does that, it feels like I'm tapping out. That's what it feels like. It does, man. And maybe it's the right thing. Maybe it's not. But if Gabe were to make this big ceremony of it, of coming back into town, passing off this C, it would just feel like that is conclusion. That is finality for Gabe.
Is it about the team or is it about Gabe?
Yeah, of course it's about the team.
Then
it's about the team.
Then make it happen. Because now Cale's doing those responsibilities like last night. It was Cale on the ice with the refs, with all the stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
He is. Reporters go to Cale, not McKinnon after games, because Nate's weird after some games. Nate's an amazing player, but it's like you can't. Your guy. You have to be able to go to him good times, bad times. You know who that other guy is with the Avs? Cogliano. You want to make him the captain? I really wouldn't have a problem with it because he's that kind of leader. But Nate's just not that guy you go to game after game after game.
I will say this. I get why Gabe is not here. I get why he's not in the country. And this is not unique to hockey. I don't know if it's like this in basketball, Scott, but certainly in football, when guys go on the IR, 9 out of 10 times they're sent home. Now, not necessarily with guys of Gabe's stature, but if I were to go on the IR, they would say, hey, go back to Denver, get your rehab there. And it's kind of there's kind of two reasons behind it. Number one, the trainers only have so many tables. So they only have so much space that they could work on you. And number two, you've got all the time with your own personal rehab facilities and all that. But if Gabe's going to hold on to the C, it does feel like he should be here. It feels like he should be around.
Here's what also when guys go down, active players don't want to hang out. You get isolated a little bit, and it's a really tough thing. Mm-hmm. And it's important for good teams to keep guys around. If you remember when Jamal was going through the ACL, he would bring Jamal and actually let him run a practice once in a while, and to keep him mentally involved, let the guys see him around and everything else. But most guys don't want to be reminded, especially in physical games like hockey and football, that this thing could end like this. And I do agree with you, Tyler, that for Gabe to do that, in his mind, it might be a internal speech of this is over.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah,
but
and that may not even be the case. I'm praying that he is able to get back healthy and play. Go look up that surgery. That doesn't have a play 82 game in the NHL success rate attached to it.
No, this surgery is about, can you play ball in the backyard with your kids? That's for the most part what this thing is.
Yeah.
This is about as serious of a sports injury as you could possibly have. And more times than not, it's about quality of life rather than it is sports.
But the reason why I'm talking like you don't trust the Avalanche right now, because they're obviously a good team, but you don't trust them because they're, sending pictures on Instagram where they shouldn't when they go on the road. It's because they don't trust each other right now because everybody's sort of walking on eggshells about this. And there's a void there. And the young guys, or the new guys, they're not young. The new guys are like, well, what are we supposed to do here? Well, you see it on the ice with a more physical presence last night, don't you? And then you see, okay, well, who's supposed to be the guy? And everybody's leaning towards Cale, not Nate. They're leaning towards Cale. And Cale knows it. He does know it, but he's not going to step on Gabe's toes. Everybody's being too polite. That is just what's going on. You need to clear the deck. Gabe needs to do it, in my opinion, and it needs to be Cale, and I see it on the Twitch. Cale doesn't want it. It doesn't matter, dude. This is the next step. Like Jokic needed to take a next step. The greatest of the greats need to take that weird leadership next step, whether they want it or not. And you could tell that Malone was frustrated, just a pinch, that Jokic was a little bit reluctant. Not now. Not now. It's moved into this crazy other area. This has to come to Cale.
You want to know what, in hindsight, might have been the best thing for Joker? Because I agree with you, and it's just against his nature to be, to get on guys and do it. And sometimes the captain, you got to get on guys. I think Joker, and I told you that story yesterday, I think that's turned the corner for Joker. He's no longer afraid.
He doesn't care.
But the series they had to play against Golden State without Jamal,
and
it's basically just Joker.
Yeah,
I thought that series kind of pushed him, if you will, said, dog, this is you.
Right.
This is you right now.
Right.
There is nobody else.
Well, this is a fair question. I think it's important that Cale wants it. It's really important that he wants it, because if you force it on, and this comes from G Bro in 91, he says, if force it on a guy who doesn't want it, does that make sense? That's a fair question.
Well,
so I don't know. Maybe Cale really does want it. Maybe he's just tiptoeing around it because out of pure respect for Gabe.
Let me advocate what you just did, except with the different person. Do you think at 19 years old?
Scott's my spiritual advisor, by the way.
Yeah. When they came to Gabe, do you think at 19-year-olds Gabe said, "I want this"?
No way.
When Hayduk handed it to him, you think he said, "I wanted this"? You think
Okay, no. Probably no. I could almost guarantee he did not vocalize, "I want this," but internally, did he want it?
No. At 19?
Well, but Gabe had been, that's a tricky question because Gabe had always been a captain everywhere he's been. Like when he was 15 years old and he came over from Sweden or whatever, he instantly became, if you talk to anybody about Gabe, they'll say that was a characteristic he always had. We can get back to it in a second, but it's a little past 1:30. I know no dumb questions because we got to get to this elephant story, Dan.
Columbus